over the helm of Advertising Standard Council of India, Manisha has been at the forefront of transforming the organization into a future-ready entity that works collaboratively with different stakeholders to protect the rights of consumers. She is a regular part of consultations on the advertising policies with regulators and ministries. She has been instrumental in ensuring that advertising self-regulation keeps pace with the fast evolving landscape, especially in the context of digital advertising. Thank you, Manisha, for agreeing to be with us in such a short span of time. To
No.
moderate the session,
Yeah, if you ask Sanjay, I cannot say no. So happy to be here.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. To moderate the session today, we have our own Ritam Bhatnagar with us. Ritam has been founder of IFP, a festival which started with 600 filmmakers in 2011 and has grown to be a community of 8.5 lakh creative people from over 42 countries across the world. IFP has also diversified into becoming an IP creation company working with leading brands. Ritam is also India's biggest and world record holder of Lego creator. Featured by Forbes recently, Ritam has been 3 times TEDx speaker and guest speaker at various forums about content, event, startup, and IPs always, and also has been visiting faculty at MBA colleges nationally. So, friends, today let's make the best of today's session. And after the conversation, we shall have few questions taken from the audience. So, Ritam, all yours now.
Thank you, Sanjay sir, for such a wonderful introduction, and glad to speak to you, Manisha, again, second time this year itself. So, really excited for this, and I'm sure this is one of the most turbulent times for you as well, because so many your mobile would be continuously ringing with so many things which are coming across.
Following the Patanjali case, that has happened, and this is one of the orders that has come actually as a result of that case. Where the judges felt that perhaps more needed to be done, and they asked the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting that within 4 weeks they should launch a portal where all ads need to be self-declared. Right now, some of the questions I think that people had was that, when it started, the case was really about health claims and, how come it's kind of widened to all of that. So I think those are questions that everyone is asking, and, hopefully some responses, we may be able to get some responses when the court reopens. Right now it is closed for vacation. So when it reopens, and the next hearing of this case is on the 9th of July, and, possibly some more details may be forthcoming. As of now, from the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, what they are doing is implementing the Supreme Court's order, which has said that, a portal like this needs to be made. There are two portals. One is the Broadcast Seva portal, where TV ads and radio ads need to be uploaded. And the other is the Press Seva portal, where digital ads and press ads need to be uploaded. Okay. Each of them actually is not very complex. We will, I think by tomorrow, maybe release a video also on, how to navigate the portal, but it is quite, it's a simple enough portal. You have to go and for the one time you have to register yourself as a user, as it would be in any other kind of app also that you use, and provide certain details. A company needs to authorize someone to operate the portal on their behalf. That person could be an internal employee, it could be your agencies, it could be anyone. So, it does not say who needs to do that. It just says an authorized person needs to do that. So that letter of authorization will need to be uploaded saying that this particular person is authorized to operate this portal on behalf of the company. And following that, so once the registration details are there, you then have to upload any proposed creative that you wish to launch in the market. Once you upload that, you have to obviously sign or tick a box saying that I, will make sure that it is kind of compliant with all the laws, etc. There is a form that has to be downloaded. So I think that is a slightly tricky part over here. Many small businesses may not even have access to a printer, because now so much of stuff is just happening online. I think most of us have done away with printers. So that's a little bit of a, I guess, one hassle that people may face is that you have to download the form, physically sign and re-upload it. Now this has to be done for every creative. Okay, so that certainly I think will add to the paperwork. So one could say that this may not be necessarily a very environment-friendly way to do this. But anyway, as it stands today, that's how it needs to be done. So every creative that you launch, that needs to go out will need to now carry a self-certification, but this is for new creatives. So if you already have something which is running and you continue to run that, or, so that, there's no restriction on that one. So this is basically applied for all ads that are released after the 18th of June.
Okay. And how do you think this will create a positive impact in the trust and perception in the mind of consumers for brands? Knowing that a lot of us, for example, are running brands or managing brands which are already in a positive zone altogether. How does that change?
Yeah, so I think, it probably puts the accountability back in that sense very clearly in the advertiser's court, saying that they need to be accountable. If you ask me, technically, any ad that is released in the market should already be compliant with or without a self-declaration. But I think this is an additional step that the court has now mandated. I think some of the questions that people have is that, actually there is no one examining these self-declarations at the other end, that it's a self-declaration. So what value does it have? I think there are some valid questions. I think we'll also have to wait to see how this plays out. So what happens when you have uploaded something and self-declared it to be compliant, but let's say someone finds a problem with that ad? That will take its own process in the way that it does even now. But I think where it will help is definitely in identifying advertisers, because that has been one of the challenges it's very difficult to even identify advertisers now. Who's kind of put out this ad? What is the contact detail of this person who's running an ad today? Let's say even 5 or 7 years back, there was a more finite a spectrum of advertisers. But today, I mean, if I'm baking bread in my house, I may want to promote my post and I'm an advertiser. So, who can contact me, let's say, if there's a problem with my ad. So I think there are certain benefits that come here. Now, whether, this is the exact mechanism which is the most appropriate or not, could be debated. So I think, there are a lot of questions, as I said earlier. Many of the industry bodies of advertisers are, planning to, request the court to hear them as well, so that they can point out what are some of the challenges or issues they are facing, to see if this can be streamlined. So I think we will expect some fine-tuning and streamlining in the days to come. So we should kind of keep all of our eyes and ears out for any further developments on this. But as of today, this is what this is where it stands.
So a lot of people have this question as well, that up till for TV or print or radio, it was still fine. But the moment it comes on digital, where just across, where the turnaround times are really quick. A lot of times we are, for example, they're tapping a festival. So your campaigns need to go live very fast. You are working with 50 or 100 creatives on a daily basis. What happens in those cases where we are utilizing Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads as well? Because I think they also come under the purview of this new self-declaration. So what happens in that particular case where the digital gets involved?
So nothing, it means more work for everyone. I mean, and that's what it means. There is really no exception which has been provided for digital ads. And I do understand that, for every one TV ad someone makes, they may be making 500 digital ads. But that's the scale that it has to be done in now. So I don't think, as I said, as it stands today, that, if you want to be compliant, there is really no choice but to go ahead and do that for all distinct creatives. This needs to be done. So that's what the law says today.
Okay. And when we say digital, again, I was going through the declaration thing. When they've said digital, it is very broad as a topic. For example, email marketing also comes, or WhatsApp marketing also comes as a part of declaration or digital now as well. A lot of us use those tools for day-to-day marketing, and probably they are more hampering tools because they reach directly into your inbox versus Facebook ads, which you still have a choice to ignore. What happens in cases of email marketing? Because, for example, that clarity is missing about what do we do. Again, similar on digital, influencers are also one of the things which are getting marketed. So, do we count influencer reels now as a part of TVC, or do they stand on digital Because with TVC, what I read was you also need to submit the script now, for example. So what happens in case of influencer marketing?
Yeah, so I think again, those are some of the clarifications that have been asked of both the ministry and, also when the courts open, this clarification will be asked. But as of now, if you see the definition of advertisements in the Consumer Protection Act, it is a very, very wide definition, and technically everything that you have mentioned falls under that. I would say certainly anything that you're releasing out in the public domain, please get the self-declaration certificates in place. Give it your best shot. Hopefully after a few iterations, everyone would get the hang of it. As I said, whenever anything new happens, there are some teething troubles. So I think the best way to address this is to get a little familiar with what is being asked and, get familiar with the portals, etc. I know it's easier said than done, but I don't think there is a choice. So I think that's where things stand today. So I think all of us will have to gear up, to meet the new requirements that have come in.
Absolutely. And we are not looking at any chance where this might completely be taken off the table, is what I have
No, we
understood.
don't know. So I think when the court opens, I think the industry will put their point of view, forward. And as you said right at the beginning, I don't think anyone is opposed to the principle of, advertisers taking accountability for their ads. I mean, that is something which, must be done. But if there is any change in the mechanism, or if there is any, any kind of modification given, I think those are things we'll have to wait and see. I don't think we have the answers today, for a lot of questions that we all have. So it can be a little frustrating and, feel that, okay, we are in a very ambiguous space. But I think, my advice would be that, interpret it for your business, and please put in your best effort on compliance.
And is there any handhold government that we could expect from government or from ASCI's side, which could help people have this entire shift become much more smoother in terms of more generic videos which could be released? Is there a helpline where people could call and ask, or probably an email ID where people could reach out to with their queries?
So MIB, as part of its press release, has shared an email ID, where you can write in case there are any questions, etc., etc. We are also in the process of making a couple of videos. I think, the time was really short from the point of view of, when the news kind of came out to the point of its implementation. So I think those are things which are again WIP. Hopefully we will get, some of these videos out, and they will help to kind of again streamline matters a little bit.
Okay. Last evening, we were just playing around with the portal, and we saw that I don't know if it's a loophole, but once you upload an asset, it becomes publicly visible, which means I can search anyone's asset. In a time where a lot of our marketing, advertising are gimmicky, where we would want to keep things away from your competitors for a longer time, this kind of gives access to competitors to directly jump and see what you are up to. Do you think this kind of becomes a hindrance to confidentiality at some point? Specifically, say, for example, real estate builders who are not allowed to release the ads until there's RERA approval that comes in. For them, this kind of gives competitors a head time to see what they are up to. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think those are certainly some of the concerns that have been noticed about the portal. All these have been brought to the attention of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Hopefully they are working on some of the solutions. But you're right. I mean, so there are things which, the portal is not able to kind of address very smoothly as of now. So, concerns on data privacy, concerns on, information, competitive ads, etc., is all, something that has been pointed out. I think when the courts open again, all these points will be put in front of the judges, and with a request for an opportunity to be heard. So I think the concerns that you're sharing are indeed the concerns of the entire industry. Many people are have these concerns, and they have promised to work and to iron out some of these issues. So important thing is that when we notice an issue, please bring it to the attention of the ministry, so that they have the feedback and they can improve the version that they have currently launched.
Okay, one last question from my side, Manisha. Where does the onus lie with all of this? Is it on the brand or is it on the agency? Because when things go wrong, who is responsible for self-declaring? Because what I am assuming is a lot of brands will put all the onus on the agencies to drive the self-declaration and then also take things back if things don't work in their way. So how do you think that would work out? Because like I said, the morning first call I had was from a brand who said that I need to learn it, I need to be on the top of it, I need to send it on my letterhead, but things are still not sure. So where do you think? What if this becomes a very anti-agency kind of a thing where agencies get take all the load from wrong
Yeah.
things?
So, I mean, so my own, view on this is that ultimately for compliances, the advertiser is responsible because it is their brand. It is communication which is authorized by them, approved by them, paid for by them, right? So I don't think, the advertisers in any situation will always hold the final, the buck will stop there. Okay, that's number one. Number two is who can upload the ad. Anyone can upload the ad that is authorized. So, if your advertiser has authorized you and you have agreed to that authorization, you can release it. The advertiser may authorize one employee of theirs in the office to do it. So anyone who's authorized can upload it. It's not like only the agency has to do it or only the advertiser can do it. The advertiser may also authorize multiple people to do it. So I think over there isn't, any specificity given as to who can be authorized. So I think any person that the advertiser chooses, to authorize on its behalf can upload this. So it's something which, and of course, it does, contribute to increase of work with whoever is doing it. And I think it's, only fair that you then ask for uh, the rightful compensation to perhaps put in additional resources if needed, etc. So I think those are things that you have to now discuss, or agencies and clients need to have this conversation. It needs to be something which is fair, in terms of the workload, etc. But yeah, I mean, who can be authorized? Anyone can be authorized. There is no
Okay.
specificity that only an agency can do it or only an advertiser has to do it. You can authorize any third party to do it, so long as you have authorized. So that authorization letter needs to be uploaded, and then it's something that will then take on from there.
And I'm assuming this also reduces a lot of ASCII's work once this full-fledgedly comes into
I'm not
picture.
sure. I'm not so sure about that because, as I said in the beginning, also that technically all ads that are released today also should be compliant with the law. I mean, nobody should be releasing an ad which is not compliant. But we still have several cases where that is done. So let's see how it goes. I think it's very early days. I don't think anyone releases an ad that they feel is a problem ad, but it ends up being a problem when other people see it. So let's see. I mean, I think it's too early to comment on how this will evolve. It would be great if there is an increased sense of responsibility that comes in. So I think that would be a very welcome step, or a very welcome trend if that happens.
Okay, I'll just take a couple of questions from the chat. Kuheli is asking, are these applicable for print ads that have already been sent out in multiple papers in April and May?
No, so this is only for new ads. All new ads released after the 18th is where this provision becomes applicable.
Okay, Rikin is asking, is this only for ads or also for the social media posts which are being put out as well?
So today, under the definition of advertising, actually all your social media posts which are put out on brand handles, etc., actually all come under this. It's So if you take a strict interpretation of what it is saying, then you should be running uploads for those as well.
Oh my God, that is too much work now suddenly. Kohli is asking, if a market research survey is sent out via digital, then will that be considered as a declaration? Will that need to be considered under self-declaration?
If a market research, so I don't understand what would be the purpose of the market research survey. I mean, if it is to promote a brand or product, then it might be construed as an advertisement. If it's information, I mean, then all information is not advertising. So it depends on, I guess, what is, so if you're doing a research is not advertisements.
Okay. What happens to the appointment category ads or classified ads in general? Someone is asking.
So ministry has clarified that classified ads, if they are of personal nature, so let's say matrimony ads or obituaries, etc. So those are all classified, or personal ads are not covered under this. Tenders and statutory announcements are not covered under this. Public announcements are not covered under this, but everything else as of now is covered.
Okay, Ravina is asking a interesting question. She says, what happens to the vernacular ad? Can we just get a self-declaration done for the English one and not for each different copy in different language?
You should not ask me all these questions, because I will just tell you, yes, you have to do it. So
Suddenly, I don't know why, but this seems like a lot of work to me, at least for now.
it is a lot of work. Yes, it is.
So when I think Kiran is asking if by some reason the portal doesn't work one day, what happens in that case? Do we still release the ad?
Yeah, so I think that's a question that a lot of people are asking, because I think some people have faced some challenges in uploading the ads, etc. I think, again, those are all issues that we are bringing to the notice of the ministry, that people who want to comply, or in some cases finding it difficult to comply because of these issues. So I think these are ongoing topics of discussion between the ministry and the industry. And again, some of these will be brought to the attention of the court as well. So we are hoping that this does get streamlined. But as I said, as of today, all of that stands. So all your social media posts, all language edits, all duration edits, technically everything will need to be declared.
Okay. Jignesh is saying if single print creative gets released multiple times across different days, does it require self-declaration every time or just once?
No. So each ad must have a self-declaration. So each creative must have, then once you have a self-declaration, you can give it to whichever media you are operating in. So it is not for every ad for every publication. It is only for every ad. You can run the same ad with the same self-declaration. You can give it to all your media partners and they will be able to accept that.
Okay, and currently our media partners asking for a self-declaration before printing it. I'm not sure if it's already begun from now, but are the TV and print people already started asking for it?
Well, they should have been asking for it since yesterday, so I hope they are. But again, like I said, this is only for new ads, and if you're running existing ads, then you don't need to provide it and they will not ask for it.
Okay. Kiran is asking, big companies have multiple silos managed by multiple people. Accordingly, do they need multiple accounts to be created in the portal?
You can, so it's completely up to you as a company how you wish to do it. What happens is that a single login will give you access from a database, from a dashboard point of view, to a set of ads. So if you feel you want to create one for each brand, you can do it. If you want to create one for the full company, you can do it. You want to create one for each of your agencies. So it really depends on how you feel you would best like to access your information at one go. So whatever information you want to access at one go, it's best to create a single email ID for that. But yeah, if let's say you have multiple divisions or multiple businesses, then there is no restriction on how many email IDs or how many authorizations you can give. So there's no such restriction that has been mentioned. So you can create multiple authorizations as well.
Okay. One big thing a lot of people are getting confused is that once we sign the self-declaration, is there any approval that we are going to wait across, or there is no need for an approval?
No, there is no
on this?
approval in this case, because once they give you the self-declaration certificate, you have to download it, sign it and upload it, and that's the end of it. So, there is a QR code which is there on the certificate, so anyone can access it and, check the status of that particular ad. So there is no approval in that sense. It's a self-declaration, so there is no pre-approval. So once you kind of put it out and the system accepts it, you will get the self-declaration certificate immediately.
Okay. Vikrant is asking if I published one ad on June 1st and I'm releasing the same creative tomorrow, does it require a declaration? I'm assuming
it doesn't.
If it doesn't. Yes. Pramod is asking, is political advertising also under the scope of this self-declaration?
They have not clarified. So we are not sure, but usually I think, like even the Consumer Protection Act, etc., normally for political ads, there is a different mechanism of moderation and this thing which is done at the ministry level, which is not in that sense industry facing. I mean, I really not 100% sure of the answer, but I don't think it comes under this because there is a separate mechanism to look at government and political advertising.
Okay. Someone is saying if some agencies do not follow this process, what obligations will they face?
Yeah, so technically you will then be in violation of the law. And I mean, should you be called out for it, then whatever are the penalties prescribed under the particular law you are in violation of could be applied to you. So.
Okay. Shreyas is asking if you are uploading 12 posts for a monthly calendar for approval, how soon would the approval feedback come in? Shreyas, there is no approval or a feedback mechanism. You just need to upload them, get the certificate, sign it, and upload it again. So there's no approval that you have to wait. Some Haseen is asking how long ago do we have to upload the ad before releasing or posting? Since it's a self-declaration, can we do it post releasing the ad?
No, because the thing is that technically while releasing it, you have to provide the self-declaration certificate to the media. So you can't really do it post, but there is nothing that you have to do it 5 days before or 5 minutes before or something. So anytime before the release of the ad, you have to provide that self-declaration to the, to your media partner. So that depends on those timings, then you can decide when is the best time to upload that. If it's something which you're putting out yourself, you can do it even 5 minutes before. If it has to go out to media, then whatever are the timelines for receiving the creative and approving the plans, etc., those will need to be taken into account.
Tanmay has an interesting question. He's asking at which stage do we take client consent that the ad is not making a misleading claim? Because as an agency, we might not have information if it's misleading or not.
This should be part of your creative development process in any case, whether there is a self-declaration or not, right? I mean, your client has to approve the ad before you release it in the market. I'm assuming that's a fairly standard practice. As an agency, you are an agent of a client. I mean, so the ad actually belongs to the client and you are providing certain services of creating and releasing. But all ads have to be approved by clients. I mean, I don't know if there are agencies that are putting out ads without client approval at all. So all ads should be approved by clients, whether or not the self-declaration, I mean, even before, hopefully, the self-declaration came in.
Okay, I'll just take one last question, Manisha. So Zeel is asking, in case of automobile industry, if we are reposting a brand's post on the dealer's page, do we need to get an approval for a self-declaration for the same as well, where the creative on the main brand page was already approved?
No, so like I said earlier, a single creative needs a single approval. Then wherever you publish it does not need reapprovals all the time. But if you change the creative, you will have to take a reapproval. So approval is for a particular creative. So once your creative is approved, you can, put it out.
So ideally, we'll have to ask them to share the self-declaration with us before we repost it on a page.
Yeah, so or if you have seen that, this particular ad has a self-declaration, then wherever you release it, you just have to provide that to the publishing bodies. And that's it. But you don't have to retake the self-declaration for an ad for which you have already taken it before.
Okay, Haseen is asking if we just change the layout and not the messaging, do we still need to upload that as well?
Yes. Same way, if you put the layout, same but change the claim, that also you have to do. So any changes that are there, whether it's in language, whether it's in duration, whether it is in claims, whether it is in layout, will be counted as a fresh creative.
And same for the down edits as well.
Yes.
Whatever
yes.
smaller edits you make.
Yes.
Okay. Tanmay, who had asked the question on about the consent and misleading claims, he's saying that at times agencies do not know technical details of product. For example, in terms of size, amenities, or in pharma, clinical trial reports are not shared usually with agencies. So whatever is given to the agency is the final communication, and we don't have any way of proof checking it back. What happens in those cases?
Yeah, see, again, this is something which is not to do only with self-declaration, right? I mean, let's say even without the self-declaration, if you released an ad which is making a false claim, that's why I said that eventual responsibility lies with the client. I think it's a good practice to ask for that evidence. One of the other things that you could ask your clients to consider, especially where there are very technical claims, etc., is that there is, so for example, ASCI has a service called the advertising advice, where we have independent experts look at any proposed ad. So it can even be at the layout stage or at the storyboard stage, etc., where we will tell you whether it's in any potential violation. Okay, and if it is based on a particular claim, and if you give us a technical data, we can even have a technical expert evaluate that. So that is one way for the agencies to kind of, create a safeguard, which is an ad, which is, let's say, it's not a pre-approval, but it's an advisory which is given out, which you could kind of take to keep yourself safe. But like I said, in most cases, the ultimate responsibility for the claims made in the ads will lie with the advertiser.
Okay, I think we've taken up most of the questions. Some people who are asking questions, I think you would have missed. Manisha has already answered those, so hence I'm not taking it again. But you can go to MIB website and you will find a lot of FAQs which are also uploaded there. As well as there's a PDF that ASCI has put out, which covers a lot of FAQs as well, which Sanjay sir will also forward to everyone over the email after this as well. Manisha, thank you so much for your time. The next few days are going to be, I'm sure, very, very exhausting for you. And I can already
not as much
foresee
for me as it will be for all of you. So
for all of us, of course, yes. But the kind of queries which are coming in, and all of them are legit queries. People have concerns. Every business has a different way of operating, and a lot of people are going to rework their processes. It's like I remember how when GST came in, the first 2 years were a mess. Everyone was just trying to figure out what's happening, but then eventually everyone figured it out. So yes, thank you so much for your time. Over to Sanjay sir for the closing note.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. On behalf of now, I think it's a tough time ahead for the agencies and the clients, and there are a lot of work to be done, right? So on behalf of Brand Club Gujarat, from the bottom of my heart, we are grateful to Manisha for her valued presence and enriching conversation which we had today. We shall treasure it forever. Thank you, Ritam, for helping us with excellently moderating it, and also with great intellect and appropriate questions. And thank you everyone for attending such a session. And I hope a lot of questions which were there, which you were asking us, have been sorted out today. Right? Thank you, Manisha, so much for being.
thank you, my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ritam. Thank you. Thanks, Sanjay. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Manisha. See you soon.